是鳗鱼，大家可以投个票，看看有多少人和你学到的读法是一样的。而鳗鱼的谜团不仅在读音上，更在于它们的身世。因为在过去数百年里都没人找到它们的产卵地，也无人目击过它们的交配，还找不到它们的生殖器，而且它们似乎还有能活过100年的超能力。那么这种神奇生物到底从何而来？我是冬青，今天我要给各位介绍一本不那么硬核的小书《鳗鱼的旅行》。我猜我博士的观众里一定有人知道这本书，因为它不仅有解读鳗鱼神秘身世的科普内容，还有充满诗意的文学描述。这可让这本书拿了不少国际奖项，一举成为当代的博物类畅销书。而这本原价59元的获奖名著，现在只需2杯奶茶钱，29块9即可在评论区置顶链接拿下。片尾还有机会抽取作者签名。有签名就意味着作者来中国了。是的，在本书引进方博集天卷的邀请下，我还真见到了本书作者帕特里克·斯文松，聊了聊你在别处看不到的这本书背后的故事。他从瑞典来一趟可不容易，大家请把欢迎打在弹幕上吧。
I'm Patrick Svensson. I'm the author of the book The Gospel of the Eels, and I'm here in Shanghai to talk about my book. For me, it started very early. It's in my early childhood. I used to go and fish for eels with my father during my whole childhood, and it was the thing that my father and I did together. You know, it was something that brought us together, and it was very important for us. And my father used to tell me those nights fishing for eels down by a small river in Sweden. Used to tell me about the eel being a very mysterious creature, you know, and about how all eels travel all the way to the Sargasso Sea in the Atlantic Ocean. And I was very fascinated by eels from a very early age. And then after my father passed away, I started really studying eels, and I found out that they were mysterious not only to me and my father, but to science. And through the scientific history, the eel has been a mystery, something that scientists for hundreds of years have tried to understand and try to explain. And that's, I guess, what really attracted me to it. It's the mystery of the eel. There's a lot of stories in the book about how we have tried to understand the eel. One of my favorite stories is about the question about where are the eels born? Where do they breed? And all European eels are born in the Sargasso Sea, in the western part of the Atlantic Ocean, very far from Europe actually. And we didn't know that until the early 1900s. And we know that because there was a Danish scientist called Johannes Schmidt, who was going to try and find the birthplace of the eel. And he did that by sailing around on the Atlantic Ocean, catching small eels, newly born eels, and measuring them. And at the place where they were the smallest, they were also newly born, and therefore he could say that this is where the eel is born. And that was in the Sargasso Sea. But still today, more than 100 years later, no person has ever seen eels breed. And no person has even seen an adult eel in the Sargasso Sea. So we say we know that all eels are born in the Sargasso Sea, but we still haven't observed it.
Can you share some tips for fishing for eels?
Yes. I fished a lot for eels when I was younger. Today it's actually forbidden in Sweden. You're not allowed to fish for eels because they are almost brink of extinction, you know. But if you really want to catch an eel, you should first of all fish at night in the dark. Yes, and you should fish on the bottom of the river or the lake, and you should use something like small maggot or an earthworm or something to lure them in. Yeah. When I was a child, I caught an eel, and I kept it in an aquarium in my room as a boy. But the eel was really clearly not comfortable there because it wouldn't eat and it was dying actually. So I decided to release it back into the river and let it go. This book is, one part it's a story about the eel, and it's a story about the scientific history of science trying to understand the eel. In the other parts, it's also a story about me and my father and our relationship, and also about me growing up. And I guess the story I told you is, of course, also like a metaphor for me and my father, and my father letting me go. You know.
好，非常感谢斯文松先生出镜介绍他和鳗鱼的故事。点击评论区置顶链接，鳗鱼的旅行即可用超值优惠价随鳗鱼一起潜入到马尾藻海。那签名怎么抽呢？截止到3月31日，我们将抽取4位幸运观众获得斯文松先生的亲笔签名卡。这是目前全网有且仅有我的观众能参与的抽奖活动。藏书人都知道，想拿到海外畅销书作者签名有多么不容易，所以值得你来试试手气。好，欢迎各位和鳗鱼一起踏上旅程，我是冬青，下周还有精彩内容等着你。